Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the T Corner. I am your host, Mr. CEO Spoken King. And today, like always, I have one message for y'all, one love, one dream. But yes, today we have a special guest right here. He's been featured in the top 100 in the Billboards chart. So, yes, indeed. He's going to talk about that and many more things. So, here's Mr. Keenan right here on the T Corner. Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm just fantastic. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. The only reason why I said your first name, Mr. Keenan, is because I tried my best to say your last name and it would have came out all wrong. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to try that one.
Well, I'll help you. My name is Kellan Fluckiger.
Yeah, Kellan. Okay. Yes, indeed. Okay. Man, I would definitely mess that up. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, no problem, man. No
Yes,
problem.
indeed. So yeah, man. So what got you into music and stuff like that?
Well, music's been part of my life since I could breathe, practically.
Mhm.
I don't remember actually learning to read music. For example, I learned to read music when I learned to read. So, like, I cannot
Yeah.
remember a time when I couldn't read it. So
Oh.
young, I started piano when I was 4 or 5. Started
Mhm.
teaching piano when I was 17. I played brass instruments and piano and all that jazz through high school, college. And then I opened my first recording studio myself,
Mm,
probably 40 years ago.
mm.
And I've had a studio back in the day where you had, big 8-foot mixing boards and
Mhm.
2-inch tape and all that jazz.
Mhm.
So I had all that for years. Today, I've still got a studio, but it's all in the
Yeah.
box. I've got a few pieces of rack gear. So I've been in music forever.
Oh, okay. So what inspired you? Like, what was your biggest inspiration as you was going through your musical journey?
My biggest inspiration, I really liked jazz.
Mhm. Oh,
So
yeah,
I,
that's
I
a
would
good
say I'm
one.
a classically trained jazz pianist. I
Mhm.
played was a piano player for jazz in high school and in college, and I wrote some pieces for them, did some jazz arrangements.
Mhm.
And then I also, when synthesizers and drum machines
Yeah.
first started happening in the 70s, 80s, back in the real days when they had real TR 808s and 909s, I owned all those, like real
Mhm.
ones.
Yes,
And
indeed.
all the synthesizers, Prophet 5, OB8, and everything anybody ever heard of. I had one in the studio at the time,
Mhm.
and 3 or 4 racks of keys and jazz like that. And so I've been doing that. What I used to really love is to bring a singer songwriter in and
Mhm.
help them finish their whole album, like, because I could
Yeah.
do all bass, guitar, strings, whatever on keys, with all the different
Mhm.
synths and then drum machines and stuff, and then they could do whatever they did.
Yes, indeed.
And I love doing that. So I did dozens of albums for folks that way. And even back in the day, I worked with A&M Records for a little while, and then I also
Mm.
did a thing with an old R&B song that your older folks are going to remember, which is "Finally" by CeCe Peniston.
Mm.
Her producer Felipe Delgado was in the studio. We did some stuff for A&M back in the day too, and that was quite many years ago. But that was all fun stuff.
Oh, yes, indeed, man. That's awesome to hear, man. That's very awesome to hear. So what why I'm asking you is this is like so as like when you was growing up and stuff and in music and falling in love with jazz. Like when I think about like the classical jazz artists and stuff like that, I think about Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis and stuff like that. So who was your biggest inspiration, or was it like your family? Yeah, because sometimes
No, the family. My mom was musical. She played the guitar and
Mhm.
piano, and she taught us, but she did not want me to do any kind of career stuff in music because she thought
Oh.
those people were like, bad. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area during the
Mhm.
first iteration of the hippies and the whole 9 yards. And my mom was afraid I was going to turn into a freak. So that was not encouraged. But my
Yeah.
jazz inspiration, the great Oscar Peterson,
Mm.
was, he was the man. And I know Monk and all the other greats, Charlie Parker, Miles
Mhm.
Davis, and everything. But for keys,
Mhm.
my guy was Oscar Peterson.
Okay, awesome, man. Because I like when I have artists from that's in music and stuff. I always like to like understand like who are you mostly listening to help you along the way and stuff. Because for me, it's like a whole list of folk. I'm from Michael Jackson to Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis to Boney James. I mean, like, yo, I
Uh,
listen to them all.
Totally. I agree. And I loved all and listened to a lot of them. And when I did early days in the studio, there was a lot of
Mhm,
R&B. I was in Phoenix at the time. So there was a lot of folks who were coming in and doing some hip hop stuff
mhm,
and things like that. So I had a lot of exposure to that in terms of the jazz piano. It was Peterson, but
mhm,
I had a wide range of influences and interest in rock, Bon Jovi, Brian Adams, and they're all people that are old for today's folks, but I'm 66, so that's
no.
okay.
No, man, I still remember the whole Bon Jovi experience, but of course I'm an '80s baby, so I was in the heat of everything,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
arena rock music and stuff. So, yo, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so how did you get on the top 100 of the Billboards chart? That's awesome to me.
Well, I was in a choir, so this is
Mhm,
two brothers in Southern California started a choir in Orange County, and then it's still active today. It's called Millennial Choirs and Orchestras. I was in
mhm,
that group for 7 years, from 2009 to 2016. And
mhm,
they've released a number of albums. And in the classical genre, three of them not only were in the Billboard, but they debuted at number one in the
mhm,
Billboard. So three of those
mm,
albums hit top, number one, in the choir that I was in. And we've recorded in, big concert halls like a Bravenel Hall and a hall in DC and then in Orange County. And
mhm,
we performed in a number of places. And after I left, because I actually moved out of Phoenix and moved back up to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which is where I'm now because my wife's mother was getting old and we needed to take care of her. So we had to come up
mhm,
here. So I couldn't be in the choir. But the year after I left, they also went and performed in Carnegie Hall and all that sort of thing. And I would have if I'd been in them. So that's where I was in that group. And they did, and they're still active. They did even during the pandemic, they did a Christmas album, which had all kinds of location video and it was an incredible
mhm,
job. So on YouTube, anyone that wants to look it up, it's Millennial Choirs and Orchestras. It's a spectacular group of
mm.
performers.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Cause like I gotta be honest with you, you are the first person I do believe that I've interviewed that's been on the top 100 of the Billboards charts. Cause like the people I normally interview is like local talent and stuff like that. So yeah, this is awesome. So, what other projects are you working on for the future, or are you just laying low and just chilling and enjoying life?
Well, I am absolutely enjoying life. I live and
Mhm.
love every day to the max, but I am
Yes,
working on a
indeed.
bunch of projects.
Mhm,
My journey through life, like everybody's, is full of stuff. I struggled with a lot of depression and mental illness, like a
mm,
lot of creatives and musicians do. And so I
yes.
I wrote a book. I've actually written 16 books, but wait a minute.
Okay, okay.
One of the books I wrote was a story about myself called
Mhm.
Tightrope of Depression: My Journey from Darkness, Despair, and Death to Light, Love, and Life. And
Nice.
and then I wrote the sequel, Volume 2, which is called Down from the Gallows, because I wanted to keep with the rope theme that talks more about recovery. But you asked me about music projects. So what I did, because I wanted to set those apart, is I wrote an album of music, 11 songs for each book to tell the stories. So they're like pop style, 3 to 5 minutes, with regular the rock sort of accompaniment, but so they're out, and the album that goes with Tightrope is called Name of the Black, which tells the dark stories about depression and the struggles that I personally experienced. And then the other album is called Promise and Power, and that's not up on Amazon or in iTunes yet, although it's done. It'll be up there in a week or two. So that's 22 new songs on 2 albums. And then there will be a 3rd volume in that trilogy that will be out in January. And that will also have another album of 11 songs. So there's 33 new cuts that I've done in the last little while that go with the books that I've written.
Yo, and ladies and gentlemen, he is telling you some truth about depression. Depression is a real thing in the creative world. Cause I just got over mine just recently and stuff, but when it get a hold of you, it gets a hold of you. And I know for me as a creative person, as a poet, I have to start writing immediately, like, cause that's my outlet and stuff. So I heard that you was creating like different albums for the books and stuff. I was like, okay, so that's his way of releasing. Okay, I got you. Because I like to hear stuff like that, because it motivates me to want to write more, because that's why I do. I just write. So, and sometimes I create with music. So with hearing you say that was pretty awesome, man. Like, real talk.
Well, I would, you and your listeners, first of all, I'm really grateful that you're doing this podcast. Podcasts, by and large, are a labor of love. I mean, we don't get paid to do them, and I have one too. And so it's something that you're doing because you want to add good to the world, lift somebody's heart, bless their lives, do something good. And I love that. So I want to honor you and thank you for the work that you're putting into yours to do that for creatives, artists, and whoever you're serving.
Oh yes, indeed. At first, when I did this whole podcast journey and stuff, it was just to help me with me getting my confidence up and stuff, being behind a mic. But then it started turning into something more as time went on, and it, like how you said, it started turning to a labor of love, and you want to start putting your little indent in the world. Like, okay, what can I do to help the world? What can I do to help somebody else and stuff like that? So that's why I started like reaching out to poets and stuff, because I know there's a whole lot more poets in the world than there are advertised. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot more good music out there in the world than what is advertised on the radio or on TV. So I was like, let me make my little dent. Oh, it may change the world. God bless it if it does. That's my hope and goal. But hey, at least I'm leaving back a legacy. So I was like, that's where the whole concept came from. So thank you, man.
You're welcome. And I mean it sincerely. It takes a lot of work, a lot of courage to jump in, say what you have to say, not worry too much about what anybody's going to think or any of that stuff, but just do what you do because you can. So God bless you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for your work too, because like I said, music, like when I was in band and stuff, I had like some of the coolest band teachers, because they broke down music like this. Okay, it don't matter if you playing classical, and it don't matter if you're doing hip hop. they all music is a language that the world re- can relate to, and no matter what part of the world you in, somebody will hear that beat or that drum or something and automatically say, "Oh, I remember that song." No, so music is a universal language, and my band teachers made sure we understood that. So yes, music is like one of the main things with poetry that I want to bring out there and stuff. So yes, what you saying is facts.
Well, that's wonderful. And I love, in fact, just before recording this, I was over there in the studio. I was rehearsing those songs that I talked about from the two albums that are finished because
Mhm.
I'm going to do a concert
Mm,
virtually here in a little while,
okay.
uh, in a few couple 3 weeks, and two of them actually to
Mhm.
talk about the struggles, mental health, illness, but also sing the songs and introduce the creativity and all that stuff as an additional sort of invitation and
Mhm.
inspiration for people to like do their thing, because
Mhm.
everybody's story is important, everybody's life is
Oh,
important,
yes.
everybody's journey is important,
Oh,
and the
yes.
more that we can share, it'll serve somebody that needs to hear it just that way.
Mm. Man, you said a mouthful right there for real. Cause like I said, you speaking facts on this, man. You speaking like truth. So you say you gonna be doing a concert. So when's the concert gonna be, and how can people see it or look at it or yeah.
So here's what it'll be. I don't have the dates picked yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing them in 1 hour. So they're 1 hour concerts. They're going to be on a platform called
Mm,
Stage It, which is a performance platform that's virtual.
mm,
And they will also be advertised or talked about on my Facebook profile and that sort of thing. So anybody that wants to know when they are, to participate or to hear, and I've told you what they're about, and you can
mhm,
get the books if you want to read the stories on Amazon and stuff. But the concerts
mhm.
will be talked about on the Facebook and Instagram, and I'm really easy to find because my name is so weird. So,
Yeah.
like Kellan Fluckiger, all you have to do is spell the name right, and I can't hide because there's only two in the world, and the other one's my son. So it's not going to be
Yes,
hard to
indeed.
find me.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, indeed. And I always like to do this with my guests before they leave and stuff. Like, how can people find out more information about you, and where can you like what's a good Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you do all that, like I call it the credentials.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So that's I mean, my work, I'm a coach. I
Hmm.
spent 30 years in energy and as an executive and blah blah blah, and that all went away in 2007. 14
Hmm.
years ago, I had a huge life change because of the depression stuff, and I became a coach. And since then, I've
Hmm.
written like a million book, not million, 16 books, and I've six underway and all this jazz. So to answer your question, because my name is so different, Kellan Fluckiger, you can find me easily. So if you
Okay.
Google my name, there's thousands of hits. If you go on YouTube, I have a channel that I do motivational and inspirational videos
Mm,
on. And I just put my name in there, and the name of the channel is Ultimate Life Formula.
mhm,
So if you want, I started a podcast 2 years ago at the top of the pandemic. Yeah,
mhm,
that's a funny story. My my wife got a phone call from somebody that knew I did motivational stuff
mhm,
at right at the top of the pandemic in March of 2020 when the lockdowns were first starting and all the cases were getting really high in Europe and Italy. And, maybe all of us for 5 minutes thought it's Armageddon, the end of the world or something. I don't know.
mhm.
But anyway, somebody called my wife and said, "Does Kellan have a podcast?" And we didn't. But she said, "Yes." And then she came downstairs and said, "We have a podcast." So I have one that I've been doing daily since then.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And I just recorded episode 611. and it's called Ultimate Life Formula. So if it's on all the platforms, 15 minutes a day. It's short. Ultimate Life Formula. You can find me on Facebook, just my name, LinkedIn, and YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I don't do any of the others. I know there's more, but I can't do all of them.
I feel you.
So you can find me really easy. If I can do something for you, or if you'd like to chat, hit me up and let's talk.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sure. And I would like to thank you again, sir, for being on the show. Keep doing your work. You're a blessing to a lot of people, whether you see them or not. You know what I'm saying? No, because anybody that touches on depression like that's some special work. You know what I'm saying? So keep doing your thing. Keep blessing the world. And yes, you will always have a seat right here on the D Corner.
Thanks very much. And again, I want to honor you for the work that you're putting into it to bless those in the world. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll have you right back after I end the show and stuff. But I'm about to say something to the people real quickly, and we'll be back. All right. All right. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please go and support this guy right here. Go support him, and because he's doing great things, and he's doing life-changing things. So I said I was going to start bringing people in here that's life changers. Look, I'm living it up. Okay, so I'm just going to let you know there's going to be some more people that's going to be coming in here that's life changers, because we got to change the world one step at a time. We can't do it like with big steps. We're going to have to do it with little steps. And the little steps will turn into big steps. All right. So remember that wherever you're going through at this moment in time, you can beat it. You're a winner and you can make it. God bless you. Until next time, one love, one dream. CEO Spoken King out. God bless y'all.